Hey, welcome back to another edition of Celebrity Scene News. In this day and age, there's something very important, and that's our environment. And that's the electric car, the Mini Cooper car. And here to talk about it is Mr. Alan Thicke himself. And Alan, it's good having you in Las Vegas.
Thank you, thank you. Anywhere you go in Vegas, there's music.
Music
you weren't my first choice as a dance partner, but it's an energetic place to be.
It is, and actually we're at the Preve nightclub just outside of it, and everybody's watching and dancing. But more importantly is we can drive cars now that have no gas. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, well, even in Vegas, where the traffic is at least as slow as it is in LA, I see a great advantage, and we're all excited about the hybrid technologies new car, the fact that they have a lithium battery that'll go 120 miles, and you know, when you start adding that up over the years, not only the effect on the environment, of course, which we're all talking about, but on your pocketbook. What is gas? $33 an ounce now, or something like gold, or the poppy fields of Afghanistan aren't as expensive as gas is going to be for the next few years. So I think both from a responsibly, socially conscious point of view, and also from the personal financial management point of view, it's wonderful that hybrid technologies have come up with this, and I'm happy to support it.
Of course, I think this would be a great thing for your kids, because you know how kids are, they like those hot rods, but as they're growing older and learning responsibility, that gas can be a big expense on them. So are you going to put them in hybrid?
Well, yeah, both of my grown sons are already threatening to be driving a hybrid soon, and my 11-year-old is especially proud of it, because I'm happy to say they're teaching kids in school now how to be green, and they come home with environmental ideas. They do projects on the environment. He's doing one on hybrid technologies now. He's going to get all the research and information and explain to his class how the technology works on the battery, and I think it's wonderful that they're that aware nowadays. We weren't. Of course, there wasn't as much information. Now there's no excuse not to be more environmentally conscious.
Since we're talking about the technology, let's bring the expert in, the engineer, Mr. Ron Servin. And Ron's right here. Ron, how you doing?
Very good, very good.
Before we get into some other conversations about movies and all these good things, let's let the people know before you leave a little bit about the technology of your car and how soon they're available. I told somebody tonight by the name of Leon Benzer, I told him about the car. He says, I want to buy it right now. How much is it? I says, well, you got one for $70,000 and another one for $39,000. He says, well, where do I get them? I says, I don't know. I'll find out tonight. So tell us about it.
Yeah, they're on our website at hybridtechnologies.com. You go in there, you select your car, and it actually, just like you're ordering your car, you order your color, you order your interior, all the different options you want with it. And then depending on the model you pick, obviously the price adjusts to that, and you can get right into custom choppers and everything else that we build down there.
I'm getting the BMW Mini Cooper. Great looking little car. I'm getting the convertible. Ron's getting him even in the colors I wanted. And my understanding is that what you're able to do, Ron, is you pretty much gut the existing BMW, replace it with your own technology. The rest of the car is the same, the way BMW would have delivered it to you, so you're losing nothing there. How many different models of cars are you able to service that way now?
We've got about 5 different cars that we're doing right now, and we actually are just introducing a brand new sports car that we're designing ground up. That'll be basically the world's next supercar that's going to be full electric, 160 mile an hour. And then we have a hybrid electric that we're building, which is a V12, all aluminum, runs on E85 with electric, and that car is going to do well over 200 miles an hour.
Yeah, I can already hear my elder son signing up for the sports car.
So if you want to buy a hybrid car and you want to be part of the responsibility of having a cleaner environment, no gas, here's where you buy the car. Okay, Ron, here's the punchline.
That's it. It's just hybridtechnologies.com. Takes you right there. Everything, all the information on our company is there. It's a publicly traded company, so information is all on the web page throughout the different areas.
And Al Gore just bought 30 of them, just since we started talking.
There you are. Ron, thanks for talking with us.
Thank you very much.
That was Ron Servin talking with Alan Thicke and myself about the technology of these wonderful cars. So I guess, BMW, Mini Cooper, and some of the others will be available, Alan.
Well, and there are other forms of environmentally responsible cars, the different types of biofuels, etc. But having done a little investigation, a little of my homework, this one seemed the most efficient, the most able to stay with your own personal choices in terms of the kind of a vehicle you want to drive, with the least compromise. And I'm just very proud of these guys. I think they've done a great job.
So when you're responsible, you feel better because the environment, we're helping to improve the environment. So remember that. Another situation is being responsible about bringing up your kids. Now, I don't have any children, but I know a lot of people that have children, and it's a tough age to bring up children. You've got 3 of them. What do you recommend to parents on how they bring up their children?
I recommend you buy my book called How to Raise Kids Who Won't Hate You. And not that any of us really knows, but I do have that book out, and I'm happy to say it's filled with some actual advice that from real professionals who know what they're talking about, and then a bunch of my own pointless anecdotes. But there is really, anybody who's tried it knows that there's no surefire guidebook. There's no manual for operating children. God bless them, they're like snowflakes. They're all going to be completely different, and it takes a very involved, hands-on approach in understanding the differences between every child. And my main advice, I guess, has been to try to stay ahead of the curve. There's so much information now between the internet and television and being precocious at school that there's such a cacophony of voices in a kid's universe now that I think it's really important that the parent's voice gets heard above them all, and to make sure you understand what they're being exposed to, what they're hearing about, what they're talking about, and you stay a step ahead to make sure that your values and your own standards are preeminent in whatever it is they're hearing.
What about the old school of parents that actually would spank their kids, and now, of course, kids are turning on the parents and calling the cops? I mean, that's a difficult situation.
Well, I also recommend that you get the hardcover copy of my book, because if the advice doesn't work, then you just smack them with it. I'm okay with old school stuff.
When you mention children, something that's close to my heart, and I'm dealing with autistic children. They're very brilliant, but unfortunately there's a lot of mixed feelings on it, and there's a lot of celebrities involved in it. We have the Benzer Autism Foundation, and to see these kids and to see how brilliant they are, yet they don't communicate quite like you and I do, but they're so far superior in many aspects. And I know you've probably dealt with some of that, and you've met some of that. What are your thoughts about how people should react in dealing with autistic children, and how the parents should have a better understanding? It's not something that you really have to be ashamed of.
No, I think first of all you have to learn about it, because there's a whole counter surge now with some people speculating that autism is a fabricated disease, that it's just badly behaved children. I don't support that notion myself, and I would always want to err on the side of let's see what science can tell us. Let's see if there are special approaches we can take for children with special needs. And I think before we would ever entertain any thoughts of dismissing or marginalizing autism or anything else that affects your kids, learn everything you can about it. Get into it, find out about it. And, they were saying the same thing about ADD, that it was California psychotherapy invention. I don't buy that. I like to think that the medical and scientific community know what they're talking about. Let's listen and proceed with caution, but by all means support everything we can in learning about things that affect our kids.
As we leave on this particular broadcast, and we've seen each other, from Hollywood to Vegas over the years, and I often thought to myself, I wonder how Alan dealt with, when he was younger, working his way up, how he dealt with the negative aspects of the business of acting, and how he overcame those obstacles. And was it meditation? Was it God? What was it that got him through the whole thing?
No, I tell you, if it hadn't been easy for me, meaning I was lucky to fall into a couple of shows